Every Hindu living in the Kashmir Valley is not a Kashmiri Pandit and cannot get the benefits of special job schemes meant for members of that specific community, the Jammu Kashmir High Court said in a recent judgment. Dismissing a plea to include some Hindu groups and Sikhs into the Prime Minister's job package for Kashmiri Pandits, the court said that the targeted group is a separately identifiable community distinct from other Hindus residing in the valley, like Rajputs, Brahmins, other than Kashmiri Pandits, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and many others, said Justice Sanjeev Kumar in his judgment on Tuesday. The petitioners had argued that the other Hindu groups besides the Sikh community too had suffered much and ought to be considered for benefits similar to the ones extended to non-migrant Kashmiri Pandits. The court, however, said that the argument that they can be grouped together as Kashmiri Pandits cannot be accepted. COVID will start becoming endemic in India in the next 6 months, a top expert said, asserting that a new variant cannot alone bring a third wave of infections. Sujit Singh, the director of National Centre for Disease Control, in an interview with NDTV said, "This pandemic has defied most of our predictions, but in the next 6 months, we will approach endemic status. This means that the infection will stay in the population but will be progressively easier to handle, like the flu." Dr. Singh said COVID becoming endemic would mean that the infection becoming more manageable and easier on health infrastructure. The United States announced a new alliance on Wednesday with Australia and Britain to strengthen military capabilities to face the growing rivalry in China, including a new Australian nuclear submarine fleet and cruise missiles. The announcement of the alliance, made in a video meeting by President Joe Biden, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, and his British counterpart Boris Johnson, is sure to raise hackles in Beijing. It also met with swift pushback from France, which has been negotiating a multi-billion-dollar sale of conventional submarines to Australia. Biden said that the work to enable Australia to build nuclear-powered submarines would ensure that they had the most modern capabilities we need to maneuver and defend against rapidly evolving threats. Speaking to CNN in the first interview with an international news organization since the Taliban took control of Afghanistan last month, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan commented on the terrible relationship with the United States that has been disastrous for Pakistan and how he is now seeking a more pragmatic approach in dealing with Afghanistan's new leaders. Khan said, "Pakistan were like a hired gun. We were supposed to make the US win the war in Afghanistan, which we never could." Khan said he repeatedly warned US officials that America could not achieve its objectives militarily and would be stuck there. He said that the US should have attempted a political statement with the Taliban from a position of strength at the height of its presence in Afghanistan, and not as it was withdrawing. Khan has previously criticized the US exit from Afghanistan and said he has not spoken with President Joe Biden since the Taliban takeover. He said, "I would imagine he's very busy, but our relationship with the US is not just dependent on a phone call. It needs to be a multi-dimensional relationship." Actor Sonu Sood's office in Mumbai and a company in Lucknow linked to him were raided by Income Tax Department on Wednesday. Taxmen arrived on Wednesday afternoon at the premises of the actor, who receives crowds of people seeking help at his doorstep daily. Sources at the Income Tax Department said a recent deal between Sonu Sood's company and a Lucknow-based real estate firm is under the scanner. The survey operation has been initiated on allegations of tax evasion on this deal. This is not the first time Sonu Sood has been raided. He was among the Bollywood personalities raided in 2012 over allegations of tax evasion. Opposition politicians linked Wednesday's raids to the actor's recent high-profile meeting with Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who declared him the brand ambassador for his government's mentorship program for school students in the capital.